The feds captured Blac Youngsta at Yo Gotti's concert. They already knew that he was the last guy that tried to hit up Young Dolph. So they know for a fact that they're gonna have him try to do it again, man. When they put the money on Dolph's head, Blac Youngsta was the person that was gonna go and try to get him taken out. And this is the reason why he even signed to CMG. Because if you've been paying attention and you look back, you would already know that Yo Gotti only brought Blac Youngsta into his label and to rap for him because he was having him do stuff on the streets. And this is why when the 100 shots happened with Dolph, the person who turned themselves in as a primary suspect was Blac Youngsta. And this is coming straight from the sources in Charlotte, man. The DA, they said that Dolph, like, they could have pressed charges on all of them, but Dolph dropped all the charges because Dolph wasn't gonna tell. He just wanted to be left alone. And he basically gave him, he let them off on the hook. He let them off the hook this time, man. He let them go because Dolph wasn't going to try to snitch and tell on them. He just wanted them to know that he's not the one trying to start the beef and that they should leave him alone because they just got caught. They tried to Dolph at that time in Charlotte with the 100 shots, and Dolph made it out, man. He outsmarted them because he had a bulletproof Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van. And so now that Blac Youngsta's being looked at as a suspect, everybody already knows that he probably was riding in that Bentley truck. He knows Big Jook. He's very close to him, and the reason why Blac Youngsta's brother got hit up is because he's directly connected to the Young Dolph. So when Blac Youngsta was on the run and they couldn't find him, and a lot of the dudes from PRE were looking for him, MPD, the feds, they were all looking for Blac Youngsta. He was nowhere to be found. Then all of a sudden, when his brother pops out of nowhere, the dudes in the streets, the goons that's looking for Blac Youngsta, they get his brother, because sometimes that's what happens. If they can't find you, they're gonna get somebody that's close to you. And this is a direct, like, the retaliation behind them trying to set up Young Dolph is very, very heavy on them right now. That's why CMG, the concerts keep getting shut down. All of the artists keep getting their chains snatched. It's basically a lot of bad karma from them doing what they did to Dolph. They should have left Young Dolph alone and none of this would have happened. They could have continued to make their millions. But you see how people, like, they had millions and millions of dollars, but they still wanted to beef. They still wanted to be about that street life. It wasn't about money for them. It was about a whole nother thing, and proving people wrong and right, that they were the tough guy in the crowd, right? They wanted to be seen as the most feared person. They didn't care about taking care of their family. And so this is why Yo Gotti and them, they went through the lengths that they did in Blac Youngsta to try to set up Young Dolph, man, because they were jealous of him. They were hating, and basically they knew for a fact that everybody from Memphis, that's really their hometown, they actually liked Young Dolph better than Yo Gotti. And this just they couldn't take that no more, man. This is why a lot of people crash out, bro. A lot of people will crash out because they can't get their emotions under control. Yo Gotti and them, they were furious. They kept getting stunted on by Young Dolph because Young Dolph didn't have to go out of his way to try to get people to touch Yo Gotti and them. But they kept coming after Young Dolph so many times, and Dolph kept doing bigger and bigger things. And so this is what made them get even more mad. When all the times that they tried to get him, it failed. But then Dolph would bounce back and he would make another 10 million, another 100 million, do another #1 hit. And so they got tired of that because, like, it's Memphis and it was a small town, and Young Dolph, the king of Memphis, Yo Gotti wanted to be known as that. So he felt like he basically got taken out of the place that he was, like, he felt like he was supposed to be getting as much attention as Young Dolph and having the real people from Memphis being on his side. So once that happened, Yo Gotti realized that he can't do none of the dirty work in the streets. He can't actually run up on Young Dolph himself to throw hands and do 1v1s or anything like that. So Yo Gotti had to try to put up the money to try to get one of the other people to do it. And basically, everybody knows that this whole entire beef was about Yo Gotti and Young Dolph anyways, and it all started over a female, man. This is why people gotta realize that you can't be tripping about a lot of stuff like this, because the downfall of Yo Gotti and CMG and what brought their whole crew down was that Yo Gotti couldn't keep his emotions and feelings under control, all because his female was hanging out with Dolph behind his back. And Dolph said that's not his fault. That's the girl's fault. That's Yo Gotti's fault for not having her to be under control. Whatever he was doing at home wasn't enough for her to be to come back and not be looking at other people. And that's really what comes down to, because man, they could have literally, Yo Gotti didn't have to actually take it that far, but we understand that he was hypnotized by the hate. That's one thing that Boosie said. Boosie said a lot of people get hypnotized by the hate, and what that means is that basically in Yo Gotti's situation, anytime that he went around Memphis and places that he went to, like, he would hear people playing Young Dolph's music. Then the people who he talked to, they would ask him, "Oh, did you hear the new Dolph song?" Then he would go to a family member's house and they listening to him and they wearing the PRE shirt and everything. And everywhere Yo Gotti went, he just couldn't see nothing but Dolph and this, and it was on his mind because that was the person that his girl was basically leaving him for. And so everywhere Yo Gotti went, he was hypnotized by the hate because he kept hearing Dolph. He's like, "Turn that song off, shut that down, take off, don't wear that around me." And so it bothered him until he was like, "You know what? I'm tired of seeing this. I'm gonna make sure that everybody gonna miss him and we're gonna take him out." This is what really makes a lot. That's what goes through a lot of people's head when they keep seeing the person who's considered the enemy and they op and they popular and they keep seeing him everywhere and they don't want to see nobody shine. That's the thing. The people that hated on Young Dolph, they didn't want to see him winning. Young Dolph, he was paying a lot of people's electricity bills, helping with the rent. He was taking care of people's school supplies, turkey drives. He would make sure that the people who was less fortunate had a roof over their head and a plate on their table to eat at the end of the night. And so people they gravitated more towards Young Dolph because he actually gave back to the community and tried to make people come out of the hood and do what he did, if not better. But Yo Gotti, he wanted to step on people and make sure that they never came above a certain status, that they couldn't pass him up. And that's really hateful, man. That's a true hater right there. Is that a lot of people, they don't want you to be more successful than them. They want they'll clap for you and say good job as long as you still under them. But the minute you start getting more successful than them and you got 50,000 more than them, 100,000 more than them, that's when they start to turn. And then you could kind of see with the things that they say, all of that stuff, you could kind of see that, oh, they actually hate. They don't want you to pass them up, but they're cool with you staying at this low level, but they don't want to anybody making more than them, being more successful than them, getting more fans than them. However you want to see it, a lot of people, they was actually preying on Young Dolph downfall, man. And I want to send my condolences to everybody that was affected by this. If you guys are Young Dolph fans and you support Dolph and you want to get the justice, go ahead and comment. Let me know where y'all from. Make sure you share this video on Facebook and YouTube.